Harry, in this interview with The Guardian, he was talking about wanting to correct untruths. I mean,
you wouldn't know an untruth that slapped him in the face, because he's been delivering untruths since they walked out of the UK in 2020. It's a bit rich giving to The Guardian, a Republican newspaper. What is he trying to achieve? You know, the Guardian is so anti-monarchy, and yet there's Harry cozying up to The Guardian. I think the whole interview was a load of rubbish, and I think most people will recognise it just for that. I mean, the fact that he wants to concentrate on his dad over the next year, he should have been concentrating on his dad ever since he walked out in 2020, not just the next year. Is there some message he's trying to send?
Well, he said,
I've missed it.
He says, in the coming year, the focus really has to be on my dad. How do you think that's going to manifest itself? Does that mean that he will be coming over more often, spending more time with his father? Remember, he only got like half an hour with his dad when he was over here last time.
Well, he didn't get much, did he? I mean, there are various reports saying he got 50 minutes, 52 minutes, 55 minutes. How long he had, we really don't know. Did he get a cup of tea? We don't know. He did see his dad. How long his dad gave him, we don't know. Is he going to come back here more often over the coming year? Watch this space.
Yeah.
What's he going to achieve? Remember, though, there are the Invictus Games in 2027. So that's barely, 18 months, 2 years away. Maybe he is going to come across. What he's going to do, again, remains to be seen. I think best thing he can do is put up and shut up, because to have no conscience is a bit rich. He should have a conscience.
Well, this is the comment. He said that his conscience is clear. Are you surprised by that? I mean, he's never really shown any plans to apologise or to admit any failures,
no remorse whatsoever,
or to show any remorse for anything or just to admit that maybe I did this a little bit wrong. I mean, he said, clearly I haven't done anything wrong. My conscience is clear. Where do you stand with that, Samara?
Well, of course, his conscience is clear because he has this unshakable victim complex. So his conscience is clear, but he's been trashing everyone else in his path. And I think it's really interesting, his meeting with the king, because he went through the entrance to see his king for the general kind of public, not the general public, but, and CEOs.
It was a visitor's entrance.
Well, the visitor's entrance, and he had to get checked by security, and there are reasons for that. I mean, we know that the king is completely, and William, are very concerned about him leaking to the public any information from any meetings that they've had. And this comment about, I need to spend the next year with my dad, I mean, that could mean that the dad has only a year left to live, as you said, Matt. I mean, that's a leak in itself. That's a leak about his health.
We don't know that, but it could be Harry, seems to be kind of giving that impression. You could read that into Harry's statement. It's led to comments where people might start thinking, well, is Harry leaking kind of health information about his father? We're told that, his cancer treatment is continuing, he's living with cancer, and they're managing it really well. But I think that comment, really, the focus really has to be on my dad, has worried a few people that maybe he's been over-speaking a little bit. You're right. We just got a bit of time for our quick-fire questions. So take a deep breath. I want your best answers to these, please. And I might even chip in if I've got time. Right, following Meghan's throwback birthday photo of Prince Harry, what is your favourite picture of Prince Harry?
Well, mine is Prince Harry poking his tongue out at the media outside Ludgrove School in Notting Hill Gate. The media, in order to get a picture, would stick their tongues out and make funny faces. And here he was, a 3-year-old, in the car with his mum and with his face pressed up against the car window with his tongue hanging out. And yet, the following year, trooping the colour, he did the same again on the Buckingham Palace balcony. Photographers are there. Oh, those are the people I stick my tongue out to. And he's been doing it ever since. Yeah.
It's not a photo for me, but I miss the banter of him and Harry when they used to live together and when they were training. I was watching just before I came, them in their training outfits, and I miss that banter that they used to have. They really used to take the mick out of each other, but in such a brilliant way. And watching those interviews from, I guess now like 10, 15 years ago, those were the days. So
that's just forgotten history. That's just gone history.
Yeah, it really is.
That's in the archive.
When I was watching them, I was like, how? Now they couldn't even be in a room together, probably, if they tried.
I think she should have put up the picture where he was playing naked billiards in Las Vegas. I thought maybe that would have been if you're going to do a throwback picture, that's the most famous throwback picture of or there are others actually. There's Harry when he dressed up as a Nazi.
Yeah, move on.
We'll move on from that one.
Yes.
But I thought maybe the billiards picture would have been a little bit more fun. We'll see that again. Right. Melania Trump made headlines and went viral for her interesting choice of hat on arrival in Windsor. But what is the best royal headwear you've ever seen?
I mean, at William and Catherine's wedding, there was so many options to choose from. We don't forget Victoria Beckham's headwear, Eugenie, Beatrice. I mean, they all had fantastic. I couldn't pick. I feel like that whole wedding was like some sort of headwear show with the wedding on the side.
Beatrice I thought was absolutely incredible, wasn't it?
I did love that. Yeah, I have to say. I know it was controversial, but yeah.
I have two favourites. One is Princess of Wales. Actually, they're both Princesses of Wales. One is Catherine at the after the St George's Chapel interment of the late Queen in that wonderful black hat and that just looking straight at the camera. And Diana did exactly the same in 1988 in Paris at the Arc de Triomphe when it was marking the 70th anniversary of the end of the First World War. And she looked again straight at the cameras. She had a wonderful sort of hunting type hat on with the veil. The worst hat, I've got to mention the worst hat.
Okay, worst.
Princess Beatrice, 2011, William and Catherine's wedding.
You think?
That monstrosity.
You think? I've got affection for it.
Yeah, me too.
I really do. We were just talking about it. I've got affectionate for that. I thought it was just so striking and weird that it's
totally weird.
But you remember it. That's the thing. She knew it.
It was awful, though, wasn't it?
That would be the hat to divide all conversations.
I remember first seeing it, I thought, wow, and then I've gradually liked it over time. I quite liked the Princess of Wales' at the coronation. I think she had, I don't know how to describe it, it was like a laurel wreath.
Yes.
The silk, I thought that was pretty. That was very pretty.
Yeah.
Right, now, the King made jokes during his address at the state banquet with Trump. Well, he made one about golf, didn't he? He made a joke about golf. Who do you think is the funniest or best humoured royal?
Well, the King's got to be the funniest because he does have a terrific sense of humour, as does Camilla, and this is why they spend so much time when they're out and about giggling together, because they see the funny side of things. You're probably too young to remember the Goon Show, which was a show way back in the distant past with Harry Seacombe, Spike Milligan, and it was very, very funny, and Charles is a fan of them. It's zany humour. I think the closest you get to it probably today or yesterday was Fawlty Towers. It's that sort of humour. But yeah, Charles does see the funny side of things, and he made a point of seeing the funny side when he Richard Nixon, Tricky Dickie, tried to pair him off with his daughter Tricia.
About that, yeah.
Charles was only 21 at the time, so it wasn't in the marriage market. And George W. Bush tried to do it again when he was in the White House with one of his twin daughters.
He's quite self-depreciating, isn't it? He often kind of pokes fun at himself in some ways.
Yes, he's very self-deprecating. And he does poke fun at himself. But you mentioned the golf. He mentioned golf, suggesting to Trump that we got the best soil for golf courses.
Trump would know. Funniest royal, Samara?
I've got to say, William, I mean, that man really can make a joke. And I think that's one of his biggest sort of like assets as a future king, is that he can talk to the people and put people at ease. I mean, I remember when he went on a podcast about a year or two ago, and they go, "William, welcome to the show," and he's like, "It's Your Majesty, thank you." It's like, no, I'm joking. Like, and he really does sort of. He's able. That's his in with most people, is through jokes and banter. And yes, he is, the future king, but he's able to really be grounded in his humour. So I don't know. I love, Prince William. He's hilarious. He doesn't get enough credit for it. Harry's always like compared to Diana. I think William's much more that.
Yeah, very good point. I always find Camilla giggling a lot. I've been on trips and she always gets the fit of the giggles. I think she
sees the funny side of things.
She sees the funny side of life a lot. There's been trips we were in Samoa last year and she just couldn't stop giggling at the water that was blowing onto reporters and stuff like that. So I think she was it was blowing off there was a heavy rain that was blowing off the roof onto loads of journalists, and she just couldn't stop giggling. Right, well, we'll finish on a giggle, we'll finish on a laugh. So thanks very much, guys. We've been through a lot. I've really enjoyed it.